On our very first episode of Chit Chat, we discuss our experience at this year's sold-out Gen Con 50, talk about Seventh Continent and some of the other games we've been playing, and open up about our love of White Walkers and evil clowns. Welcome to our first ever Chit Chat. We're here, you know us two, you know these two, but I'll introduce us anyway. Jeremy, David, Gary, and Ryan.
Hello.
We're going to talk today about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Gen Con. We just got, well, not back. We live in Indy, so Gen Con's here. We're going to talk about Gen Con. We're going to talk about a lot of games we've been playing, and who knows what else we'll talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about Gen Con.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks removed now. Did you guys think it was as big as like past years? Like all this talk about everything selling out. Like
it didn't feel any bigger, but I think that's because of Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
it was huge. They had a huge area there that was open, right? I mean, tons of people were over at Lucas Oil.
We went in there for a couple of days. They had the museum in there. They had the games library. They had moved True Dungeon into there, which I think they had done in the past year.
I don't know where it was, but it was in there somewhere.
But the traditional setup of Gen Con seemed to be the same for the most part. The exhibit hall didn't really expand. You had the play area where all the play testing was done.
Made the alleys a little bit bigger. It didn't seem like, I remember 2 years ago, it seemed like sardine cans.
Yeah,
Everybody was
it
really
wasn't
tight.
didn't
It's
feel that
not
bad.
like that anymore. Now, they said they had 208,000 turnstiles.
Now, see, let's talk about turnstiles for a second. What does that mean? I've never understood why they go after.
You went through the turnstile 4 times. So, you know, that's...
Yeah, so I think it should be divided by 4 then.
Yeah, and there's probably reasons why they don't do that, but I mean, do you think there was over 65,000 people there?
We actually went down there Wednesday, which is one of my favorite days to go down there because we get early access to the exhibit hall. And, you know, we can kind of walk around and talk to people. But it seemed like that night when we were there, Georgia Street was crazy busy.
Yeah.
Wednesday, compared to the last 2 years, 2 years ago, Wednesday was like very few people. There were some people in line to get their badges, things like that. Now it's like it's the first day of Gen Con.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really feels like that.
At least as it relates to like the after hours scene.
Right.
Like it starts Wednesday night for sure.
Right. And plus, you know, we had great weather the whole week.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think just everything, it just all put together, there was a lot of hype. And, you know, I think there's probably over 65,000 there. But it was spread out. I think adding the Lucas Oil really helped.
It was the 50th as well, so that was a huge draw. I mean, people that hadn't been to Gen Con in 20 years came to celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, my nephew who lives here in town, he had 2 friends from, I think, one of his WoW guilds come. One from Australia.
Really?
And one from Canada.
That's pretty cool.
To go to Gen Con with him. And he wouldn't usually go to Gen Con all 4 days, but he did because of his friends coming too. So yeah, I think the 50th anniversary kind of played a role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, there were some huge releases too this year.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of games that sold out. Like Clank in Space sold out.
Yeah.
Ex Libris sold out. Starfinder sold out in like 2 days.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like we talked about this during the con. There's a few games in the past where it's like 2 years ago I remember like it being 5 Tribes and New York 1901 and maybe a couple others. Mysterium.
Yep.
And now it's a long list of games that are selling.
If you guys check our channel, we had interviews that led up to Gen Con. Actually, we had the interviews pre-Gen Con, and we're just now posting. We had 10 companies come on, but one of the things we focused on was talking about your releases at Gen Con. And typically, they're bringing about 250 to 500 new games. These are selling out Thursdays and Fridays, but there's no space to store them in the booth, so they're having to do storage off-site in warehouses.
Oh yeah, I mean we had a conversation, I think it was just last year, with a smaller publisher who was struggling to figure out how many games they should bring, and it was like in the couple hundreds. This year, if you have one of those games that's going to sell well, I'm convinced you could sell probably 1,000 or close to 1,000 units at Gen Con.
It's just it's crazy that, you know, every year, like you said, there's usually 1 or 2 great titles. But this year there was maybe 10 that were all like must-haves that all sold out like within the first couple days.
I think there's a lot of titles that hit a lot of people in different areas of where they are in gaming.
Yeah, that's true.
From your virals, which are more your family friendly, but even to your heavier games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of titles all across the board that really attacked a lot of different people. And like, I remember talking to the Arcane Wonders guy, what you're just saying, and they ran out of viral and they had to ship some from a warehouse way off.
We grew up kind of in the video game industry. We love where you find out a week before that X, Y, and Z games are going to be there at the show. Does that make you guys stressed out
yeah,
being
no,
gamers,
I
or do you
love
like
it.
that?
And
Yeah?
I've been talking about this. You talk about the video game industry. It's something they haven't been doing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember going to E3 or watching E3, and it was, here's a new game. It's out tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And we don't get that anymore. So like hearing like the Twilight Imperium announcement, like, by the way, here's Twilight Imperium, and you can get it tomorrow. Like, that's cool. Right?
I think that was a big surprise. Twilight, it's not my cup of tea, I don't think. However, they announced that, and then I think you tweeted out a picture of the big old stack of boxes there, and everyone was like, "What? It's here?"
Yeah, people were like, they were like, "Is that real? Like, was it even real?"
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I wasn't, like I said, I'm not interested in the game, but it's hard not to get caught up in that sort of enthusiasm.
Let's talk about games that we've been playing.
Yeah.
What have you guys been up to?
I'm starting to go through some of my Gen Con games.
Right?
Yeah,
There's a ton of them.
We just played Gateway Uprising, which I had not even heard of this game.
It's a CMON title, right?
It is a CMON title, and it just came out of Gen Con. I had never even heard of it. I guess it was kickstarted by a smaller publisher. CMON bought it, published it for them. It's kind of like an area-controlled deck-building hybrid. Had a few small issues, but I mean, it was a lot of fun. I love deck-building games, and we're kind of seeing a resurgence of that with Clank and Tyrants, like deck building, but with other mechanics added.
Edge of Humanity is another one that we recently played too. That's a deck building game.
That's also a deck builder. Yeah. With more going on, managing your survivors, building buildings and things like that.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
You and I played at the Z-Man booth. Majesty for the Realm. It's a Marc Andre game from Hans M. Gluck. I think that's how you say it.
Is he the Splendor guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they only had 2 copies there. They were German copies, but it didn't matter. I mean, the iconography is awesome. It was just a pretty quick game, I think, if I remember. I think we had like 24 actions. And basically, you're just doing a little set collection in your little tableau of city, and you're always getting points with every time you're getting using your workers to grab other people to come into your village.
Yeah, it definitely
was fun.
It had not quite the simplicity of Splendor, but I think I liked it better because of that, because it had quite a bit more going on.
And really awesome, like artwork and everything.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful.
But that's going to be an Essen release.
Yeah. Also at the Z-Man booth, they had Gaia Project, which I got to sit down and play.
It's the Terra Mystica in space, for those who don't know.
It was good. It was very cool. I only got to play one round.
Right.
And we tried to get a copy to take home, and so we didn't, but it looked so cool.
I think they only had the one.
What I want to talk about, though, is Seventh Continent. This is a game that's it's up there. It was a Kickstarter game. This game is so
a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah, I've played 6 games of it so far. The majority of them have been
you soloed it.
Single player, right. So I tell people it is like Monkey Island. It's got some Zelda. It's got some Unlock from Asmodee where you're looking on the cards trying to find clues, but it's got this really cool just narrative to the game that you're playing through, and the mechanics in the game are really smart. Everything is strategic. There's almost no luck in the game. It's a beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah, it's great. I loved it.
Yeah, guess what I've been playing? It's 2 years old. It has nothing to do with Gen Con, nor is it a brand new game coming out at Essen. No, Sans Souci. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we had some time with Mina at Gen Con, and she suggested this game based on the kind of games that I like. And I played it just yesterday, actually, with my youngest son. Both of us liked it. I'm not sure. Have you played it?
I played it once, yeah.
There's like 0 interaction. So there's not a lot of take that at all whatsoever, but you're basically building your garden. It's like a very tranquil experience, but I really liked it. I'm going to play it this weekend a couple more times, I think.
What is that, a city?
Sans Souci is a garden. This is interesting. It's a garden with a French name, or at least a French-sounding name, but it's in Germany.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure of anything more than that, but I like the game anyway.
I finally got Overlords of Infamy to the table this weekend, which I think actually released at Gen Con, but was a Kickstarter. I got to play it at Origins last year, and only just like a round of it in a demo. And I was really excited to actually get to play it, and it kind of surprised me. It's really like a light game. It's a light worker placement, tile placing, kind of area control, resource management game.
Just a little bit of everything.
Anything else?
In which you're actually like villains trying to become villains, collecting resources to enact your plots. And they start off kind of harmless, like it was open a vegan restaurant that secretly serves meat, or like test the air raid sirens in the middle of the night was like one. And they grow progressively harder. Meanwhile, you have an adventuring party of heroes that moves around the board trying to kill your workers and basically come in and like destroy your base.
So it's
like there's a lot going on.
Tongue in cheek, then clearly.
Oh, it's very like
almost like a Despicable Me. It's like
it kind of is like that. It's very cartoony looking.
Yeah,
it's very kind of family friendly, but you're playing the bad guys for sure.
Interesting.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, everybody at the table, I think, was kind of surprised by how much fun it is coming from a new publisher. So
one of the games also that you and I played the other night was Dragonfire. Now I have not played Crossfire before, so we played it a little bit wrong the first time that we played it, but it's really intriguing. I love the aspect that you have these stickers that will help you through the adventure, like you're leveling up. There's like a lot of cool like card play back and forth between turns. It makes me want to come back and try it again.
It's another deck builder too.
It is a deck builder, right?
And it's, I mean, you said stickers. I'm not terribly familiar. This is a legacy style
game? It's a legacy game, yeah.
Yeah, you have like a player mat. You can give yourself stickers as you level up that are just ongoing abilities for the rest of the campaign.
I love how, as adults, we're all like going back to when we were like in elementary school and enjoying the idea of getting stickers and putting them on.
Right? That's cool.
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, just throwing back to Gen Con really quick, you guys saw the Pandemic Legacy booth?
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, man. So that's going to be a must-have.
Did you get a chance to go in there and check it out?
Yeah, it looked really cool.
I walked in and I walked out because I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, right.
The guy says, you want to sit down? I go, nope. I just want to see your board, and then I'm going to walk out.
Yeah.
But everybody that was coming away from it said, because I think they got to play like the first little bit of the first round, so there were some spoilers. Everybody's like, oh, this is going to be great.
Really?
It sounds like it's completely different from the first one in terms there's some pick up and deliver aspects to it.
Yeah.
Of course, the board is going, your map is going to grow.
I love that. Stickers.
Yeah, it's more like exploring.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, more stickers,
You're
right? Yeah. So that sounds really cool.
So, enough about board games for a second. We're talking about sort of like the last 2 weeks. Anything else anyone doing over the last 2 weeks?
Well, not over the last 2 weeks, but we bought tickets for it.
Yeah.
We have a large group of people that go to movies on Thursday nights, opening nights, to this really awesome movie theater.
It's called Select Movies.
Yeah, but select movies, but it's called Flicks. It's an awesome theater. They have really good food. They've got really nice seating, and it's just like 8 or 9 guys that go and just watch movies together.
Yeah.
It's our next movie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It is our next movie.
I've heard it's supposed to be terrifying.
Waiting for the red balloon to float by here in a minute.
The early buzz is supposed to be really good.
I know.
So
haven't heard already? Like
I think there was a screening and there's been tweets, but no reviews yet. But the tweets are significantly positive, saying it's very, very scary. I'm looking forward to it. I remember when I was younger seeing the television version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Tim Curry as Pennywise is creepy as
It doesn't hold up, though. Have you seen it
lately? It does not hold up.
It doesn't hold up as well anymore.
Like, I YouTubed it just to refresh my memory, and it's
comical. Yeah, it's comical now.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
Now I'm going to go and look at this like, wow, that really was bad, wasn't it?
He's still creepy, but the overall thing is just awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. I also checked out, has anyone checked out The Defenders at all?
Oh yeah, I'm already
I have
done
not
with it,
yet. I've been meaning to.
I watched one, like half of the first episode, but haven't gotten
getting some mixed reviews, but I enjoy things. Like, I just do. I have that ability.
Of getting past the crap stuff.
I can look past the flaws, and it has flaws.
So, a lot of flaws in there.
And there's a lot of good TV these days, so it's kind of, the bar's been raised. I know one other thing, the Game of Thrones finale happened. Now, public service announcement here. I'm going to look right at the camera. 3 of us have seen it. In fact, 3 of us have seen most of all of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
1 of us has not. So
I'm a Vikings guy. I'm on Team Ragnar Lothbrok.
I want to start a social media campaign
That's hilarious.
to get Gary to watch Game of Thrones. Start it now.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't watched it. It's such a good show.
I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of some of the episodes, and like I've told David, look, I know what happens. I listen to you guys. I know what happens. It's all spoiled
But it's
for
awesome.
me.
It's one of those shows where I can go back and watch it, and after you know what happens, it's still fantastic.
All right, you watch Vikings with me. And I'll,
I'll watch Vikings if you watch Game of Thrones. You heard it here.
Hey, real quick, anybody excited for anything coming out on Force Friday?
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Force Friday.
Filming.
Yeah.
I don't know much of what's coming out. I know that Fantasy Flight has something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think so.
What do you guys think?
I hope it's Imperial Assault app.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
That's what I want.
I hope it is. My gut is though that it's probably some sort of retail release, but
my guess is it's something for X-Wing, like a new ship or something from the show.
That's
like
probably
those bomber fighters or something. I don't know. I mean, there's so many cool collectibles for Star Wars. like the sideshow. I like the super high end stuff that I can't afford, like the sideshow collectible type stuff.
Right.
Like that stuff is super cool. So I'm looking forward to whatever they release from The Last Jedi.
It'll be exciting. And plus, on Force Friday, is it possible that we'll get another trailer? Do they do anything like that on Force Friday?
I've heard there's supposed to be one, but I heard something like September 9th.
Really?
I don't know.
It's about that time.
It's about that time.
Yeah, that's
so
just
there might
about a
be
week
something
away.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
we'll see. I hope so.
Thanks, guys, for watching Chit Chat.
Yes.
Come back in a week, 2 weeks. We're not quite sure how often we're going to do this.
No, we're not sure, but if you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself.
Let's get some questions in the comments too, right?
If there's something you want to hear us talk about, we'd love to talk about it. It's on your mind too.
Let us know in the comments. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, all that, and we'll catch you next time.
Later. Season 2 of Man vs. Meeple is sponsored in part by Cool Stuff Inc. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.